ドジャースに加入したタリク・スクーバルが日本時間4日、カブス戦が行われるリグレーフィールドで取材に応じました。スクーバルはドジャースの投手陣について、とんでもない才能を持つ投手が揃っています。山本はかなり厳しいルーティンを続けていると聞いていますし、翔平が自分のプレーをする姿を間近で見られることも楽しみです、と語りました。さらに、彼らは最高峰の舞台で結果を残してきた選手たちです。盗めるものは何でも盗み、自分のプレーに生かしたいです、と話し、山本由伸や大谷翔平から積極的に学ぶ姿勢を示しました。また、球界最高クラスの戦力を誇るドジャースが、さらに球界屈指の投手を獲得したことに不満を抱く他球団ファンについて尋ねられる場面もあり、スクーバルは自身の見解を明かしました。今回のトレードは米スポーツ界でもトップニュースとして大きな注目を集めており、米人気スポーツ番組、リッチ・アイゼンショーでも大々的に取り上げられています。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
But I talk about galvanizing a team. We just got swept by the Boston Red Sox and it really wasn't that close at home. But you bring this dude in that clubhouse, arguably the best pitcher in the world right now. It is a shot in the arm. Good for the Dodgers. Everybody had a chance to go get this dude. Teams like the Rays, the Brewers had an opportunity, and the Dodgers said, okay, if you're not going to go get him, we'll go get him. And yes, they gave up a lot. Make no mistake about it. They gave up Hope, who's going to be a stud. But guess what? You're getting this dude. An absolute difference maker. And the Dodgers not standing pat and not taking it for granted because they realize how hard it is more than any other sport in America to repeat and three-peat. Baseball, there are so many variables, and they increase their chances by getting this dude. That doesn't mean we're going to win it. That does not mean we're going to win it, but it does increase your chances of doing so. Great on the Dodgers.
Yeah, and other teams certainly made a pitch for Tarek Skubal, but didn't meet the asking price that the Detroit Tigers wanted for their two-time Cy Young Award winner, and Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers did just that. The news broke, though, Saturday night during our post-game show. Jerry and I, we were mid-highlights when we heard that Tarek Skubal was coming here to the Dodgers. Skubal joined the team yesterday in Los Angeles. He was on that flight last night to Chicago. Kirsten Watson is with the Dodgers right now at Wrigley Field, and she spoke with Tarek Skubal earlier today. Hi there, Kirsten.
Hi, John. Well, first I should say, just when the news broke on Saturday, I was in, oh, it's okay, Chucky. I was in the clubhouse with all of the media, and the guys were in there. And as soon as the notification popped up on everyone's phones, the way in which all of the writers immediately had to walk out of the room, because of course the biggest news, we heard Andrew Friedman talking earlier, and he said that when you have a star that's available on the trade market, they were going to go all in for him. They had their eyes on him, and they were able to acquire him. This afternoon, Tarek, when he spoke to the media, he talked about just not only the emotional side of being traded, leaving an organization that he began his career with, but also the excitement of coming to the World Series, the back-to-back World Series champions of the Dodgers. Well, first and foremost, congratulations and welcome to the Dodgers. When you think about just what the last 24 to 48 hours, finding out that you were going to be traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers, what was just your reaction, and what does it mean to you just to be a part of this organization now?
Yeah, I mean, initial reaction, there's a lot of emotion, right? I spent 8 years with the Detroit Tigers, and that place will always be special to me no matter what. In the same breath, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to compete with these guys, and, when you watch them from across the way or just see them, do their thing on TV, you just have a lot of respect because they play the game the right way, and, the entire focus of this organization is on winning championships, and that's my entire focus of playing baseball. So we're very much aligned, and I'm ready to go out there and compete and give this organization and city everything that I've got.
I know there was a lot of talk about you possibly being traded, but when it finally happened, were you surprised?
I don't know if surprised would be the right word I would use. It became pretty clear what was going on, later on after my start on a Wednesday. Losing that game kind of felt like that was kind of it, for me in Detroit. And yeah, so not surprised, but it didn't make the news any easier, because I love a lot of those guys there, and I got a lot of respect for everything that they do and how they go about their business. And those guys are they're not just my teammates. A lot of those guys are like my best friends on and off the field. So you know, I wish those guys nothing but the best, you know, and I'll be rooting for them unless we're playing them.
What was your reaction hearing that this was the place you were going?
Yeah, I mean, I was just excited. You know, I mean, you go through the kind of the roller coaster, right? You know, getting traded from a team where you spend a lot of time, and then have won, you know, the last 2 World Series and are ready to win a 3rd one. You know, so it's exciting for sure, but a lot of emotions, and you know, I didn't really try and speculate or try to guess where I'm going to end up. You know, I was every single day in Detroit, I was trying to do what I could to help our team win, and then when I took the mound, do everything I could to try and win. So I didn't really put a ton of thought in it. You know, I try to live pretty presently and where my feet are, because you know, if you let the noise kind of impact who you are, it'll just put you in a weird headspace, and I don't really like operating in that headspace.
Are you glad that you're able to pitch real quickly tomorrow, and what kind of butterflies, if at all, might you have your first game in a new uniform?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I'm going to get with the pitching coaches and the catchers and kind of go over a plan of scouting, what I like to do, what they like to call, all that stuff, visuals behind the dish, all that type of stuff. I'm very excited about going over all that stuff and getting ready to go out there and compete. And, you know, I just like that I didn't take 8 or 9 days off. You know, I'm on kind of a 5-day rotation. You know, I think I have a 6th day this time, but that's pretty normal with off days in our schedule anyway. So I'm excited to stay in routine and just go out there and compete. And, you know, when Andrew told me it was Tuesday, I was very excited because I just got done throwing a bullpen, you know, preparing to pitch Tuesday for wherever I was at. So I'm excited about that.
Do you feel pressured as a hired gun almost?
You know, a couple things. I think pressure in this game is a privilege. You know, not a lot of guys get to, in the game, get to wear that. So it's an honor to have expectations around you. I've always thought that, you know, it's an honor to have a fan base that expects me to go out there and perform. It's an honor to have teammates that expect me to go out there and put us in a position to win. So that pressure has always been a privilege to me, you know, and I'm excited. You know, it's what fuels me. It's what motivates me to be great. I think all the really good players in this game all kind of wear that, and they all go out there and perform, and I'm sure they use it as fuel too. So it's something that I'm excited, and you know, I don't want to shy away from it. I want to embrace it, you know, and it's part of what makes me who I am, and part of what, you know, gets you through some days where you might be a little tired or, you know, not motivated. It's just wholesome, right? You know, off-season stuff. If you want to be the best in the game, you got to earn it, you know, and that's how you prepare each and every single day. So that's kind of what holds me accountable. You know, you know, and my teammates, when we take the field, we're going to fully expect to win on days that I go, and I don't take that for granted at all. You know, and I love it. You know, I want the same feeling. So, yeah, I think that all that stuff's kind of a privilege to be able to play this game and perform at the highest level and on the biggest stages.
I understand some fans being kind of upset that the best team in baseball gets the best person on the market right now, one of the best pitchers in baseball.
What do you want me to understand?
How some fans might be frustrated at the super teams, like when LeBron would join a super team, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to. Every team could trade for me. You know, every team could make that acquisition, and yeah, I don't really sympathize with people that blame the Dodgers for anything they've done. You know, they've developed a really good organization. They draft well. They acquire talent really well. They retain talent. It's a winning organization. Now the complaints seem to be because they've won the last 2 World Series. You know, I don't think it was like that 3 years ago. So I don't really sympathize with people that are complaining because the Dodgers, you know, do all the right things.
So for Tarek, as much as he knew that the trade deadline was approaching and that his name was very much in the conversation, he still admitted that it can be a little bit bittersweet. You're leaving an organization where he had spent 8 years, had so much love. He talked really a lot about the relationships that he had in the clubhouse with that team. And with coming over to the Dodgers, as much as there are some familiar faces, he said he had relationships with Mookie Betts. He, of course, had met like Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani at different award ceremonies and dinners. So for that, a new experience this afternoon, he spent a lot of time with the pitching coaches and talking with the catchers. It's likely that he will be working with Eliezer Alfonso tomorrow, as just when you look at the catching situation, I know we'll get into it later, but with Dalton Rushing going on the IL, there should likely be a move for Ben Rortvedt. But the good news is that for Tarek and Eliezer, they have a relationship that goes back to about 2018. So they were in the minors, but at least there's some familiarity as they prepare for him to take his first start as a Dodger tomorrow here at Wrigley Field, guys.
A little strange to see Tarek Skubal in Dodger blue, but certainly exciting. Can't wait to see him take the ball tomorrow. Kirsten, thank you very much. If the Dodgers can get everybody healthy, this is what the rotation could look like. The World Series MVP Yoshinobu Yamamoto has 11 wins this year, a 2.76 ERA. The WHIP 0.88. Skubal missed a month and a half after having surgery to remove loose bodies from his elbow. He's 7-5 with a 2.79. The WHIP is 0.91. Incredibly low walk rate, only 14 walks in 96 2/3 innings. Blake Snell has only pitched one game, but is expected back next week. Shohei hasn't pitched in a month. He's 8-2 with a 1.79 ERA, 0.94 WHIP. Tyler Glasnow has been out 3 months with back issues, 3-0 in his 7 starts, 2.72 ERA. He's expected to begin a rehab assignment this week. You could throw in Justin Robleski, Roki Sasaki to make it a 6-man rotation again. But first things first, you have to get everybody healthy again, Jerry. But when you have Tarek Skubal added to the mix with that group, what do you make of the potential of a Dodgers starting rotation?
This is the best starting rotation I've seen since the late 90s Yankees. I came up with the Baltimore Orioles, and I remember facing Roger Clemens in his prime, Andy Pettitte, Eldike Hernandez was running that fastball on 97 miles an hour. Oh, they had David Wells, David Cohn as well. Every night, that team had a chance to win because they had starting pitching. Same thing with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have done an incredible job. And oh, by the way, Eric Lauer's not even pictured in that screen. He's been our hottest pitcher. Robleski was an all-star. So credit the Dodgers for making sure, valuing pitching. And Adrian, you know this as good as anybody. You can never have enough arms when you're heading into the postseason. Never have enough. And if the starting rotation obviously gets healthy and stays healthy, you'll have some of those arms head of the bullpen. And we saw how that worked out for the Dodgers last year.
This might be the first time I've ever seen 3 Cy Youngs in the middle of their lifespan as a player, as a pitcher. You have 3 guys in their prime, and yeah, Snell's coming back from injury, but you got 3 guys in their prime who have won Cy Youngs. Sorry, Yamamoto hasn't won a Cy Young here, but he is a Cy Young winner in Japan. So, but this might be the best rotation I've ever seen. Go out there, especially if once you see Glasnow and Shohei in the back end there, talking about Robo being an all-star, it's incredible, and you know it's just amazing to see it on paper and see it as a lineup there of rotation.
One thing to see it on paper, we need to see it healthy, especially in the month of October, and look out, rest of Major League Baseball. And Tarek Skubal is absolutely right. Every contender in baseball had the chance to trade for him. The Dodgers did send 3 prospects to the Tigers, 2 of them in the top 100. Jerry, obviously we love the deal for the Dodgers, but are you surprised that no other team out there, whether it was the Rays or the Brewers, nobody made a monster offer to get him?
Stunned. There are teams, and I mentioned it a little earlier, teams that when you put this guy in a rotation with the Miz in Milwaukee, instant threat to any team, even the Dodgers. You put him in Tampa Bay with that offense in that league right now, I think they come out of the American League and really have a serious chance to win the World Series. You put this dude in any rotation, he's going to make that team better, and he's going to galvanize. You put him in Philadelphia with Wheeler and Sanchez with that lineup. I don't know. They may be the favorites to come out of the National League. You put it with the Padres. With that lineup, and they're swinging the bat now in the second half. This guy's a difference maker. I am absolutely stunned that they didn't go after this dude, but he's exactly right. Every team had a chance to go out and get them. This is not the NFL. This is not the NBA in a cap system. Every team can go out and get him and make a run at it. Do not be mad at the Dodgers for going out there and giving them their number 5 prospect, I think it was, what, 17 and 20-something, to go out and get this dude. Good on the Dodgers for making it happen.
100%. If I'm a GM in any other team that is contending in today's season, and I have one really great starter, you do everything you can to go get this guy, because that is going to be your best chance at beating the Dodgers, because you know that they are the team to beat at the moment, back-to-back World Series champs in the great spot again. That is the only way you're going to be able to do it. Now, that doesn't say that the Dodgers are guaranteed to win, but now you have an opportunity, like Jerry was talking about, to actually to be able to compete and go up against the guys that this team already had. But you allow the Dodgers to make this deal happen, and you don't step up and give up your number 1, number 2 prospects for him. That is on the other teams. That is not on the Dodgers. That is 100% on every other organization that wanted no part of giving up their number 1 prospect to have a chance to win the World Series.
Insanity.
They got a lot of money. That's what I'm saying. But things have gotten to the point for the Detroit Tigers, like many other teams in Major League Baseball, that they're looking at one player and saying, you want how much? Despite how good Tarek Skubal is and what he's meant to the Tigers organization since they drafted him. And as he even pointed out over the weekend, used the opportunities that the Tigers gave him, kept putting him out there on the mound. They just knew as he began to blossom and become a superstar pitcher that he was going to get expensive. And this year in arbitration, he got a record $32 million one-year contract in arbitration this year. The Tigers said, we'll pay you 19.
Like, that's so absurd.
What? We'll pay you 19. And the arbiter's like, no, you'll pay him 32. And you were beginning to get the sense that Skubal was looking towards free agency. Certainly, this year was a big one for him. You remember he didn't pitch but more than once in the World Baseball Classic.
Mm-hmm.
You knew the clock was ticking. And you knew who was going to get him.
Right.
You know? You knew who was going to get him. But the Dodgers seem to have competition. At the end of the day, though, that competition, I don't know what it was. Jeff Passan's on tomorrow's program. We'll ask him when he finishes with all the dust settling on this today, with the trade deadline going down today. Was it the fact that the Dodgers were willing to pick up every last penny remaining on his contract, which is $9.5 million this year? Was it the fact that, Skubal is going to be a free agent at the end of the year? I don't know what it was. But the Dodgers were the ones who raised their hands with either the best money deal on top of the best prospect deal, or the fact that Skubal is already looking over the steering wheel and like, I'd like to go to a spot that's willing to sign me long-term. Because the amount of money, by the way, for long-term, have you looked it up? Have you heard about what Skubal is going to potentially earn? Starts with a 4. And has 8 zeros after it. So, I don't know what it was, but he wound up a Dodger. Skubal gets traded. He winds up on the Dodgers. Tiger fans are definitely done for this year, one would think. And they have to sit there and go, can we pay any? What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? As Skubal got them to the divisional round twice, they lost 2 Game 5s in those divisional round series. And the Tigers have made the World Series twice since Sparky and the Tigers last won it in '84 for the franchise. In 2012, most recently swept by the Giants. 2006, lost in 5 games to the Cardinals as Jim Leyland, another Hall of Fame manager, was their skipper for that. Skubal got him as close as the last game of 2 divisional rounds. But now he's a Dodger where one would expect he will get past a divisional round for the first time in his career. And this is what he had to say after learning he got traded.
Ever since that 24 Game 5, the failure that I experienced on the mound, I've used that as fuel to try and bring a World Series to the city of Detroit. I truly did. That whole offseason, I was never been more motivated. And then, go in and we lose Game 5 again. And, that failure kind of sparks some more motivation, and just to dig deeper and see how good you can truly be. And, the goal was always to win a World Series, for the city, for the organization. That took a chance on me. So, yeah, it's tough. I love all those guys in there. They're some of my best friends, and
having a shot to be part of history, how much does that mean to you?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited. They got a good group. You hear everything across the way. I'm excited, though.
I don't blame him for being emotional. I mean, he probably thought he would be a Tiger for life, and now he just knows the business of baseball has forced him to go to a team that is perennially great now, and in terms of being tear-filled about going to the Dodgers because of where you once belonged, all he's got to do is just spend a few minutes with Freddie Freeman, and he'll probably tell you, listen, you'll get over it, kid. I needed, again, Freddie can counsel him on what it's like to transition to the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, and I'm sure Skubal will get out there on the mound and start pitching his head off for a franchise that has now not one, not two, not three, but four of the five pitchers that have the lowest ERA in Major League Baseball since 2022. Jeez. That's four. Whew. They already had Blake Snell, who's third on the list, and Ohtani, who's fourth on the list, and Yamamoto, who is fifth on the list. It's the only one that's remaining is Paul Skeens. Maybe just set your watches on this one. I don't know.
He'll be here soon enough.
Because Skubal's expected to earn $400 million in his next contract, and I'm sure Skeens is like, that sounds good to me, and the Pirates are probably like already looking for couch cushion change. But everybody believes this means that baseball is now destroyed. That this is exactly why we're about to have a nuclear winter. Collective bargaining agreement is up. Every other team in baseball is like, how can we compete with this? All right, many ways to look at that answer in this question about whether the Dodgers have destroyed baseball or are destroying baseball, because there's two ways to look at it. First of all, this. All it cost the Dodgers was 3 prospects, 2 pitchers, 1 outfielder, and $9 million. Where's the rest of Major League Baseball?
Right.
To try and get Tarek Skubal for the rest of the year? Where's the rest of them? That's all this deal cost. We're all just assuming Skubal's staying with the Dodgers. And
well, that's short.
So.
That's a little short-sighted, but yes.
Okay, but this year, for right now, if you want to compete to win the World Series, and there's many in the American League that have a shot to make the World Series in a league that is definitely less than the National, it looks like. Okay. $9 million and 3 prospects. That's it. Where's the rest of the... If I'm Andrew Freeman, I'm like, that's all we did. It's not like they've already signed Skubal to $400 million, and that's why they were able to get him. That's all.
But the understanding is that
I understand what the understanding is.
So do you want a 2-month rental, 3-month rental?
Why the hell not?
Yeah.
The Brewers tried it with CC Sabathia a couple of years ago, and they apparently tried it again here. Now, I don't know why the Dodgers wound up with Skubal. I will ask those questions of Jeff Passan tomorrow. Destroying baseball. Also, I'd be a total hypocrite as a diehard Yankee fan forever. Steinbrenner used to outspend everybody.
Yeah, that was your thing.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
And it was the rules at the time. And what the Dodgers are doing right now, under the rules that they have, your guy in Queens has got as much money as the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Not able to build something like what they're building right here in Los Angeles. And how many teams have had a chance to three-peat in Major League Baseball ever? And they're going for it. So you can't blame them. But that said, the rules that they are driving a Dodger blue Mack truck through with all sorts of like Walter White pallets of cash in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much money the Dodgers are already on the hook to pay in deferred?
Oh, I can't even.
Because they've that rule in Major League Baseball that you can defer money, and a couple teams would do it for $1 million here and $1 million there, a few million here, a few million there, and the Dodgers are like, we'll up it. Do you know how much money they are on the hook for 9 players through the year 2047? That figure is $1.064 billion. Now, it's not my money. And I don't know, what does this mean for the 2034 through 43 Dodgers? I don't know. In 2038 and 2039, the peak aggregate of paying money out will reach $102.3 million. And the Dodgers are like, whatever, we'll debt service, or we'll just get ready, or we'll put it aside. I don't know, like the ultimate baseball 529. Putting money aside for your kids' education. The Dodgers are putting money aside to win baseball games right now in a way that other teams are not, and they're also not equipped to do. So who's ruining baseball? Is it the Dodgers? Because they're seeing this and they're highly capitalized to take advantage of it, and they're like, screw it. And Ohtani's raising his hand saying, I'll take $680 million of your dollars through 2034 to 43. And Betts is like, I'll take $120 million of your dollars between 33 and 44. And Snell is like, I'll take $66 million of your dollars between 35 and 46. And Freeman's like, I'll take $57 million between 2028 and 2040. And Will Smith's like, I'll take 50 of your million between 34 and 43. Go make a deal with Uniqlo and start raising more Dodger dogs. And other teams can't keep up. And so what's going to happen? The 29 other member clubs are going to be like, let's shut it down? They're the ones who'll be ruining baseball if they do that. Get in a room, figure this thing out, because fans are like sick and tired of it. But you can't blame the Dodgers for this one. It cost them $9 million and 3 prospects. That's it. But they're also spending all this money, $1 billion in the future, and $500 million now almost, just to round up. And they're like, we'll take Skubal. $400 million, let's start talking. How much you want to defer before they change the rules on us? At the end of the day, though, my brother went to see Saturday night's game in Dodger Stadium, and on the way back, he's like, I've been just locked in on the Knicks and the World Cup, and he's like, I didn't hear I haven't heard basically of any single Red Sox player, with the exception of when Chapman came out of the bullpen. The Red Sox just swept the Dodgers and are the hottest team in baseball. So anything can happen. But the bottom line is, it feels rigged to fans. Got to do something about that. And it feels rigged to, 90% other clubs in baseball. So that's my take on Skubal coming here.
Let's talk about Skubal real quick. I'm going to zag, Rich. Skubal traded to the Dodgers. This is good for baseball. This is good for the game, and it's good for literally everyone involved.
Why?
Because you know what sports leagues need? They need villains, and they need bad guys. And the Dodgers are the number one bad guy in all of Major League Baseball right now. And so every other 29-team fan base can now rally against it and say, them. They're the problem. We're united against this one evil foe. And I think it's good for the game. Dynasties are good for sports. Villains and bad guys are good for sports. I actually think this is great. I love it. Good luck to them.
I can buy it. I mean, there's so many different takes that you can have on this thing. Again, the Dodgers, for right now, putting this in a box for 2026, spent $9 million and 3 prospects that other teams in Major League Baseball either refused to give up, wouldn't give up. I don't know. Because if this guy's that good, or you're just sitting here and saying this isn't the greatest thing around, and our next guest can join us, and when I tell him about the take, can say basically tell you to shut up.
All the other owners, stop being so cheap.
All right.
Spend your money.
It is the, billions and billions dollar question that the Skubal acquisition by the Dodgers is the canary in the coal mine about baseball is broken. Where do you stand on that subject matter, Bob Costas?
Well, it's another piece of evidence, and successful teams, the Dodgers, the Yankees, whatever it might be, there's resentment around baseball and around the various fan bases, and that's understandable. Skubal is obviously a great pitcher. He wasn't having as great a season this year as his 2 back-to-back Cy Youngs, and he missed about 6 weeks with a minor elbow operation that put him on the IL for a while. But yes, the rich do get richer. But part of this isn't just their resources, which are admittedly massive. And there may be an adjustment that comes out of this next agreement in terms of deferred payments and whatnot. But they do have massive advantages, but they make full use of them. They pick up on every other team's little mistake or their unwillingness. We're not going to pay. We can't pay Tyler Glass now. Don't worry. We're right here. We don't want to pay Yamamoto as much as maybe Garrett Cole because he's our ace and our number one guy. Don't worry. We'll take him. And they have a bit of an advantage. Obviously, there are great Asian players all around the major leagues, but given their druthers, most Japanese players would like to play with Ohtani and Yamamoto and Sasaki with the Dodgers. They have a lot of advantages that are a result of smart management, not just money.
Yeah, and in the same way that we talk about it in the postseason, that championship teams may take advantage of the mistakes that are made on the field. You're pointing out how they do the same thing in the arena of roster building and front officing, for the lack of a better phrase. But, on top of it too, Bob, like just in a box for 2026, $9 million and 3 prospects. Nobody else wanted to cough that up to the Tigers for Skubal for the rest of this year? Nobody?
Here's something else. The Dodgers have a very deep farm system. They didn't even give up some of their very best prospects. I forget what the exact number is, but they have like 9 or 10 of the top 100 prospects in all of baseball are Dodger prospects. So they have more to play with when you talk about that. Also, for almost any other team that might have been in the running, we heard about the Rays, we heard about the Brewers, in the running for Skubal, it's going to be a rental for them. The Dodgers know that unless some sort of significant salary cap is imposed after the almost certain lockout in December, if it's anything like the present system, the Dodgers are in perfect position to keep Skubal. A, they have enough money to pay him whatever the market will bear. And B, when he comes to the Dodgers and walks into that clubhouse, he walks into a winning culture. Everywhere he looks, he sees prominent names. Dave Roberts is great to play for. Nothing against A.J. Hinch. I like A.J. Hinch a lot. But the Dodgers have created a culture that is so welcoming to any good player who wouldn't want to play with the Dodgers. So when they acquire Skubal, yeah, it could be, in theory, only for 3 months, counting October. But there's a very good chance that Skubal plays out his career as a Los Angeles Dodger.
Yeah, Skubal moved to tears when he was meeting with the media after learning that he had been traded. And what moved him to tears was being asked about his next chapter. And he did say after he finally gathered himself that he's excited. I was just saying about an hour ago to start the show, Bob, like all he's got to do is talk to Freddie Freeman, salt of the earth Freddie Freeman, sitting right there in the locker room, all broken up about leaving a championship team in Atlanta, to the point where reportedly, Kershaw had to kind of sit him down and say, let's be a little happier around here. And then, that's a blue sky every single day here in Dodger blue country. The locker room is just filled with great humans and great people and their winning team and what have you. But that money, though, Bob, that's a difference too. Like, not everybody's got it. I mean, the Mets have it. Other teams have it. What is baseball going to do about that? That doesn't just throw it on the backs of the players saying, we can't figure it out amongst ownership, so you figure it out while we lock you out. Like, how do we avoid that?
One of the things the owners will push for, but they have to get some version of a salary cap or some kind of relief, no matter how they frame it, in order for them to follow through on this. But they want all the local media revenue to be shared. The Dodgers and the Cubs and the Red Sox and the Yankees and even the Mets have much larger local media revenues. They want all of that to be shared. You never get to an NFL situation where the single biggest source of revenue is their massive network television revenue. And so Green Bay is in essentially the same financial boat as the Giants or the Bears. You'll never get to that point because football is unique, but that would be a step in that direction. And they are completely willing to enforce a salary floor in return for some version of relief at the top, whatever they're going to label it.